Alright, yep. The toaster seems broken. Pushing this down doesn't do anything. It's plugged in. Doesn't start heating. After unplugging the toaster, find the 4 screws that are located in the legs of the toaster. They're Phillips screws and small. Then pry the seam between the bottom and the main part of the toaster to pull the section off the bottom. You'll see a small tab on the handle, the push down handle, that you can pry off to release the handle. You should be able to get a small screwdriver underneath the tab. Once the push tab is off, you should be able to release the top part of the toaster. Now, even though it's freaking gross inside my toaster, I can see that there's this bottom spring that's popped off. I'm imagining that is what's supposed to be pushing the handle back up. So I'm going to have to figure out a way to get that back onto that metal shaft that's sticking up. We'll see how that goes. So here's how I'm going to fix it. I'm going to slowly start weaving this spring onto the bottom shaft. Meanwhile, I'm pushing the shaft down. Then all I gotta do is line up the shaft in the hole that's right below it with the spring on it. There we go. There's the finished product there. Spring totally surrounding the bottom shaft. If things get all wonky, it's because these end pieces have to stay inside their slots. Sometimes they pop out and things get all sideways. Now, one other thing I had to do was I had to bend this tab back over that metal shaft so it didn't keep popping out. I suspect that's actually probably the issue that I had in the first place. So, yeah, if you're feeling real ballsy now, plug a thing in even though it's totally exposed. Let's check it out. Okay. Seems to be working now. I can hear it heating up. Probably see those things glowing in a second here. There they go. Alright, so that seems to solve my issue. Now it's just putting it all back together. There's also this small plastic tab that fell out, which apparently goes inside this knob that tells you how much you want to toast your toast. So I'm going to have to figure out a way to get that in there and into that hole right there in the middle. Come on, focus. There we go. I'm going to put it all back together. To get this little piece in, I'm going to actually pop the adjustment dealy bob out so that I can put it in later. That'll let me shove it all through and stick it into the right spot, lining up and all, when I get everything set and put back together. As you're putting this back together, you're going to want to do 2 things. One is you can see that tab lined up for that slot. You're going to want to get that just right. Also, you might want to make sure that this silver plastic push down lever is inside the slot. Here you can see the tabs lined up with those slots. There's going to be 4 tabs and 4 slots. Once you get this seam snapped together all around, you want to put that handle back onto push down lever. And if you look down inside, you can see the angle that receiving piece of the adjuster is going to be. So you're going to want to line up the appropriate end of this tab with that hole. Once you do that, you can see one side of that remaining piece, or this little stubby plastic thing, is kind of flat. That's going to line up with that D section on the top end of that plastic adjuster. Should snap in, and then you should see it adjust. You should see it go from 1 to 7. If it doesn't, you might want to pop that back off and flip that small plastic piece that goes inside 180 degrees, and then it should work out. Alright, here's the real test. Here's the missus gonna toast an English muffin. Try that out. Yay! Looks like she's working. Sweet.